So yesterday we talked about natural resources, so we're going to continue in that unit, but today we're going to talk about renewable and non-renewable and what it means to conserve, preserve, and consume. Okay, so you're still going to take notes, so just continue in that notebook with these notes. And like we did yesterday, I'll still show you kind of what to highlight and write down. Okay, so first of all, what is a renewable resource? A renewable resource, and you're going to write this, so renewable resource is a resource that can be replenished when it is used. So what that means is when we have used it, it is going to be replenished, okay? So, water is constantly, when it rains, we get water. It's not new water, it's in the water cycle, but we get water. Okay, so some examples. So you need to write down these examples, okay? So examples of renewable resources is soil, water, trees, crops, wind and air, solar energy, and geothermal energy. Okay, so soil, we don't necessarily get new soil, okay, but organic matter breaks down and it adds to our soil. Water, the water cycle. Trees, we can plant new trees. Crops, we plant crops every year. Wind is not something that just kind of goes away. Air is the same thing. Solar energy, we have solar panels out now, and so that gives us energy. We found a way to use that energy instead of burning on fossil fuels. Alright, so what is a non-renewable resource? So you're going to write down non-renewable resource, and it is a resource that cannot be replenished after being used. So think about non, okay, so it cannot be replenished after use. So non-renewable cannot be replenished. So some examples of non-renewable resources. So you can just write EX, and I don't write the best with these things, so hang tight. You can just write, examples, okay, and then you have minerals, okay, such as gold, silver. You have oil, you have coal, natural gas, propane, and just do fossil fuels and diesel. Uranium is out of your curriculum. But all of these things are not going to be able to be replenished. Once they're gone, they're gone. Okay? Okay, so now we're going to talk about the importance of natural resources. So you can just continue in your notes how you're going. Okay, so let's talk about how water, water is a renewable resource, okay? So how can it become a non-renewable resource? So pollution. Water becomes undrinkable, okay? It becomes polluted to the point that we can't get it back to drinkable state. If we have a drought, water sources are low, so people have to limit their usage. So yeah, it technically is still considered a renewable, but if we have a drought, we're limited to the amount of water that we can use. So at that point, it becomes a non-renewable. Alright, so what is it called when we use a resource? So when we use a resource, it is consumption. We are consuming it. Okay, so we're going to use it or use it up. Of course, this would all be if you guys are here. Conservation. So conservation, when we think about conservation, you're going to use it or manage wisely. So when we talk about conserving our time, we're going to use our time wisely. Okay, so with conservation of our natural resources, then we want to conserve them. We want to use them wisely. We want to manage how we use them. We don't want to use them excessively, because we may not be able to get them back. And then preservation. Okay, so preservation or preserve, okay, is to maintain and reserve for continual survival. So that is why we have national park services, and you're not allowed to cut down those trees and use up those resources on that national park, because we are using those national parks as preservation. We are using them to make sure that those resources are still there, and they're going to continue there for survival.